all aspects, I think. Okay. So basically, okay, I've started recording the meeting. Thanks, Vikram, for reminding. Okay, so basically, there are two types of losses in these switching devices. One is the conduction loss, and the other is the switching loss. Conduction losses are those losses which take place when the device is on and it is conducting. It is equivalent to the I squared R loss that we normally see, and here R will be the on-state resistance of the device. Whereas switching losses are those losses that take place when the device is either turning on or turning off. As we know, in a switch, when the switch is off, it is blocking the full voltage, but the current is ideally zero. Whereas when the switch is on, the voltage across it is zero, whereas full load current is flowing. Now, when you turn on the device, there is a transition of the voltage from full voltage to zero, and there is a transition of the current from zero or no load current to the full load current. Now, ideally, this transition should take place instantly. In an ideal switch, this transition will take place instantly, but in a practical switch, this will take some time, and that time is generally broadly called as the turn on time. Now, when these transitions are taking place, there is some time duration during which both the current as well as the voltage are high, and as a result, for some duration there is a high power loss across the device when it turns on, and similarly when it turns off. So these two losses are classified as switching losses. Now, the selection of the device depends on your application. For example, if you are using an inverter where the switching frequency is low but the conduction time is high, you need a device that will have lower conduction loss, even though it may have a higher switching loss. Whereas in case of a MOSFET, where you want very high frequencies, you want a device which has lower switching loss, even though it may have a higher conduction loss. So, in devices, in applications such as inverters, where the switching frequency is low, you have two choices. One is the power transistor and the other is the IGBT. Now, among these two devices, the preferred device, which is the preferred device? Anyone? What will you prefer? The power transistor or the IGBT?
IGBT, sir.
IGBT is
IGBT, sir. IGBT.
Why? Because it has
it's a combination of both.
Yes, because it has lower conduction loss as compared to the BJT. Lower conduction loss as compared to the BJT. It is more reliable as compared to the BJT, and as of now, it is available in much higher ratings as compared to the BJT. Okay? But if you are going for a high switching frequency application, then your IGBT will have significant switching losses. So in that case, the preferred device is MOSFET, power MOSFET. Okay, because its switching losses are very less, the conduction losses are high, but because you are operating it at high switching frequency, the switching losses are more prominent. Okay, is this clear, everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So AC to DC converter, which device will you prefer?
Rectifier, sir.
Rectifier, which switching device will you prefer? You will prefer thyristor or SCR. AC voltage controller, which device will you prefer? Once again, thyristor or SCR.
Thyristor.
Cycloconverter, which device will you prefer?
Thyristor. SCR.
SCRs. Chopper.
IGBT.
MOSFET.
Chopper, you'll go for MOSFET. Chopper, you'll go for power MOSFET. Inverters, you'll go for power IGBT. Okay? However, because there is a considerable difference between the cost of a MOSFET and an IGBT, for low power applications, generally, even for inverters, people prefer MOSFET. Okay? For low power applications, Even for inverters, people prefer MOSFET because MOSFETs are much cheaper than IGBTs. But as soon as you go to a significant power level, you know, for example, I've just purchased an inverter in my lab. That inverter is, I think, 2 HP, and it is capable of handling 2 kilowatt power, not 2 HP, 2 kilowatt. So there they've used IGBTs, not MOSFETs. But very small capacity inverters, people will prefer MOSFET only because MOSFET is very, very cheap. Okay. Now all these devices are 3-terminal devices where you can say 2 terminals are the power terminals and 1 terminal is the control terminal. For example, in the SCR, the control terminal is the gate terminal. Or in case of the IGBT, the control terminal is the base. Okay. Now, these devices are controlled through that control terminal. For example, in SCR, you have to give a gate pulse. Now, from where will that gate pulse come? From where will that gate pulse come?
First transformer.
By external circuit.
By external voltage source,
External voltage.
gate driver circuit,
External voltage source.
gate
What
drive
is this
circuit.
external voltage source? You have a, like, you will keep a 5 voltage source for the gate circuit. Is it so?
Firing circuit.
Firing
External
circuit.
power circuit.
How much voltage do you require at the gate terminal? Generally around 5 volts. So from where will you get that 5 volt signal? And remember, it is not a continuous signal. You want that signal only when you want to turn on the SCR. Otherwise, that signal should be 0. So from where will it come? It will come from a firing circuit. Now, how do you make this firing circuit?
By using UJT.
Yes. The first or the most basic firing circuit was the resistance triggering circuit, which used only resistors. Okay? It had a limitation that you could not increase the firing angle above 90 degrees. Then an advancement was made, and that was the RC firing circuit, which used resistors as well as capacitors. There, that limitation was removed. Okay. You could have any firing angle slightly above 0 and slightly less than 180. Exact 0 was not possible, and exact 180 also was not possible. But still, it was a considerable range. Then the further advancement was the UJT triggering circuit. I think you have studied UJT triggering circuit, unijunction transistor, correct? Yes? Yes or no? So in your undergraduate course, you must have studied the resistance firing circuit, the resistance capacitance firing circuit, and the UJT triggering circuit. In practice, which one of these will you use?
So UJT triggering.
In practice, which one of these will you use?
UJT triggering.
RC circuit.
So some people are saying UJT, some people are saying RC. What is the right answer?
Depending upon the requirement.
Unless the application is very, very basic, you will use neither RC nor the UJT. Okay? For very basic applications, you will go for UJT triggering circuit. UJT is better than RC. So for very basic applications, you will go for UJT. Otherwise, the pulse will be generated using a computer, microcontroller, DSP processor, FPGA controller. Okay? Is this clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Even in our labs, you have a machine drives lab. Okay? Madhu sir will take that lab whenever you come back, where you have a number of machine drives, and you will see that none of those drives are going to use either the RC or the UJT. All of them will be having a DSP controller. Okay? So even in our labs, it is a very, very basic application. You are having a DSP controller. Okay? Why? The accuracy that you can get with these controllers cannot be obtained using RC or UJT. Okay? Secondly, they are very, very reliable. Third, if you want to change the firing angle, all that you have to do is to change the program. Okay? You have to change the code. That's it, nothing more. If I say that I want the firing angle to be 15.55 degrees, neither the RC nor the UJT can give you 15.55 degrees, but the DSP processor can give you 15.55 degrees. Okay? Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these microcontrollers, computers. Okay. When I was doing my MTech, we did not have DSP controllers. Okay. I did my MTech in 2004, 16 years ago. So at that time, we used to have peripheral devices which we used to interface with the computer. 8253, 8255, and 8259. Okay, you can search for them. 8253, 8255, and 8259. And we used to have old computers, and we would add these peripheral devices to the computer. And from these peripheral devices, we would take the gate signal. Now all these peripheral devices come included inside the DSP processor, along with A to D controllers, A to D analog to digital converters, not controllers, analog to digital converters. Okay, so these DSP controllers as well as FPGA controllers give you a 5-volt output. How much? 5 volt. And your SCR also requires a 5 volt. So can you directly connect the DSP controller output to the gate terminal? Yes or no? Or your microcontroller output, can it be directly connected to the gate terminal? The gate also requires 5 volt and your microcontroller is giving you 5 volt. So can you connect them directly?
No, sir. No, sir. It
Why
can
not?
burn. It can burn. Means
What can burn? The microcontroller can burn, or the
gate means gate terminal can burn
gate terminal can burn because of the microcontroller.
because of the means any means jerk can come, or any voltage hike can come.
Hmm.
Voltage hike
From where will it come? From the microcontroller or from the power circuit?
from the micro from the means 5 volt.
Yes, anyone else? Anyone else?
पावर सर्किट चाहेगा और क्या?
Achilles is saying power circuit. Anyone else? Yes, the right answer is it will come from the power circuit.
Power circuit.
And if a fault comes through the power circuit, that can be transferred through the gate to the control circuit, which includes your microcontroller or microprocessor or DSP controller. And then that DSP controller also can be damaged. And if your SCR is damaged, you can replace the SCR. And if your DSP controller is damaged, you have to replace the whole DSP controller. You have to program it again and everything. All those things are there. Okay? So you need protection, or you need isolation. The correct word is you need isolation between the DSP controller and the gate circuit. Okay. This isolation can be provided using an
resistance with
Transformer.
Pulse transformer.
Pulse transformer.
pulse transformer. Okay.
isolation. Isolation can be provided.
Abhishek, you're saying something.
Regulator.
Optocoupler. Generally, it is provided using ऑप्टोकपलर, पल्स ट्रांसफार्मर भी यूज कर सकते हैं, ऑप्टोकपलर इज जनरली यूज्ड. So if I connect an optocoupler between the microcontroller and the gate, is it sufficient? Yes or no? If I connect a pulse transformer, is it sufficient? The answer is
No, sir. No, sir.
no. Why not?
No. Means output supply short circuit हो सकता है तो कहीं
Aditya, you're saying something?
वही ना करंट में तो बहुत हाई आएगी तो बता हाँ भी शॉर्ट सर्किट हो सकता है शॉर्ट सर्किट हुआ.
It's a very easy question actually.
So any means output terminal of the transformer secondary side, any short circuit can be there. Means when we are means directly connecting the secondary to the drive circuit, gate circuit. Means high current can go. Means chances of going high current to the gate. So we should give some protections to the gate circuit. So means 5 volt voltage should reach to the gate terminal. Some
You
protections.
already provided the protection, na? Using the transformer is there for protection only. Or optocoupler is there for protection only.
Secondary, whether we are connecting to the
Sir, sir,
Yes.
sir,
Vikram.
a resistance in between the transformer and the gate, sir.
yes.
Resistances will always be there everywhere. Okay? They will always be there.
Okay, sir.
Means
Okay, sir.
some protections.
Okay, anything
Sir,
else?
sir,
Capacitor we are providing
Abhishek Maji.
in parallel of this
Diode so that US power does not flow. Okay. Anything else?
capacitor we are providing parallel to the secondary
ठीक है,
of the
ठीक है,
transformer.
ठीक है. Or anything else?
sir,
Somebody else was also speaking. हाँ, Rishabh.
sir, we need not to provide the supply all the time. So we must have a control.
The control is in the controller.
Sir, because
controller will.
Because sir, if we connect directly to the secondary of the transformer, then 5 volt or 5 volt is always available at the gate circuit.
No. 5 volt is not always available. Or then why are you using controller? Why don't you use the 5 volt DC supply? The controller you are using specifically so that the 5 volt is available only when you want to turn on this. Otherwise it is 0. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Sir, Zener diode in primary side of
Zener diode भी लगा देंगे. और are these things sufficient?
Snubber circuit.
For what? For the transformer?
Okay.
Sir, one thing,
Snubber
sir.
circuit for Vikram.
Sir,
Vikram, your
sir, a
name
rectifier,
is
sir.
Vikram. Your name is pronounced as Vikram or Bikram.
Sir, Vikram.
हाँ, विक्रम. ब है कि ब है?
Sir, ba.
Very easy. You are searching for hard answers.
Sir, rectifier circuit, sir. Because we have to give DC.
So DSP is giving you DC only. 5 volt pulses it is giving. Whenever you want, a pulse is appearing. Okay? You don't need to rectify that pulse. Okay? No rectifier, no chopper, no inverter needed there. Don't make it more complicated. Just a minute, my charging. So don't make it more complicated. Okay, the simple answer is it is not just about the voltage. Correct? SCR, if we give 5 volt, it also needs some current. And it also depends on the current. Or you need some power. Correct? And your DSP controller, even though it is giving 5 volts, it is not giving you sufficient power to turn on this. Okay, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what do? You have a DSP controller that is giving you a 5 volt pulse whenever you want, and you have a gate circuit. You are connecting here, but your DSP controller, even though it is giving 5 volt, the current is so low that your SCR is not turning on. So what do? What do you connect in between? What do you connect in between?
Sir, amplifier.
Vikram, inductor will make it worse. What do you connect in between? Yes, Shiva.
Power amplifier.
Yes, that's it. You need an amplifier. Correct? So, between the DSP controller and the SCR or the MOSFET or the BJT or the IGBT, between these two, you need amplification and isolation. Okay? You need two things. One is amplification and the other is isolation. And the circuit that includes these two things, amplification and isolation, that circuit is called a, what is it called? Priya?
Power circuit.
Power circuit? No. What is that circuit called?
Gate.
Shiva. Yes.
Gate circuit.
Yes, it is called the gate driver circuit. Okay? Driver circuit. And what is the purpose of the driver circuit? To provide amplification and isolation. Okay? Number of possible circuits are available for gate drives. However, today, as of now, we have ready-made ICs. Okay? So what do? You purchase the IC. As simple as that. Okay? And on one side of the IC, you will connect the DSP. On the other side of the IC, you will connect the power electronic switch. Okay? You have different drivers for MOSFET, different drivers for IGBT, different drivers for SCR, all commercially available as ICs. Okay, is this clear? Yes.
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Finally, now we have to revise the different types of power electronic circuits that we have studied. Can anybody give me the classification of AC to DC converters or rectifiers? How do you classify rectifiers? Which rectifiers have you studied?
Sir, what you are asking?
Classification of rectifiers.
Okay, rectifiers.
Sir, half wave and full wave rectifier.
Controlled, uncontrolled, and controlled.
Three phase.
Okay. One classification is based on the supply, whether the rectifier is single phase or three phase. Where do you use single phase? Where do you use three phase?
Single phase use in single phase supply, three phase use in three phase supply.
Single phase supply है तो single phase, three phase supply है three phase. ठीक है, और anyone else?
Three phase in industries and single phase in domestic.
Why so? Why so?
Because it is available. It is available.
The industrial application is mostly a three-phase supply.
No.
That's why they.
It is available.
Depends upon power requirement.
Yes, that is the answer. Depends on the power requirement. For low power requirement, the single phase rectifier is sufficient. At your home, all applications are low power. That is why you have single phase supply and a single phase rectifier. But for high power applications, that single phase rectifier is not sufficient. You have to go for three phase rectifier. Okay. Okay. So the one application is depending on the supply. It can either be a single phase rectifier or three phase rectifier. Another classification depends on the devices that are being used. The rectifier can be uncontrolled, fully controlled, or half controlled. Correct? Uncontrolled means all the devices used are diodes. Fully controlled means all the devices used are SCRs. And half controlled or semi-controlled means half of the devices
Pair
are
of
SCRs and half of the devices are diodes. Because one more classification is half wave and full wave. Because half wave rectifiers require an odd number of devices, it is not possible to use half number of diodes and half number of SCRs. You can never have a half wave, half controlled rectifier. Correct? You can never have a half wave, half controlled rectifier. Single phase half wave rectifier, only one device is used. So it can either be a diode or an SCR, not half diode, half SCR. Similarly, for three phase rectifier, three devices are used. Okay. So it is either half wave uncontrolled or half wave fully controlled. Okay. However, full wave, even number of switching devices are required. So you can have all SCRs or all diodes or half SCRs and half diodes. You have all three possibilities there. You can have uncontrolled, you can have fully controlled as well as half controlled. Okay. So the name of the rectifier. You have very long names for rectifier. For example, single phase half wave control rectifier.
Bridge rectifier.
Single phase half wave fully controlled rectifier. Or three phase half wave fully controlled. Three phase full wave fully controlled. All those things, all those names are there. Yes, as Priya is saying, there is one more classification, that is bridge configuration or midpoint configuration. But midpoint configuration is very rarely used. Okay? Very rarely used. Why?
So difficult to
SPID.
point the midpoint of the secondary of the
The peak inverse
transformer.
voltage is 2 Vm, sir.
Peak inverse voltage is
Yes,
twice of.
two reasons. Your devices, even though the number of devices required is half, each device has to handle twice the voltage as compared to the bridge rectifier. And second, you need the exact midpoint of the secondary. It is much better to use a bridge rectifier, and that is why bridge rectifiers are more popular. The classification also can be in terms of the number of pulses. You can have a one pulse converter, you can have a two pulse converter, you can have a three pulse converter, you can have a six pulse converter also. Correct? What is a one pulse converter? What is this pulse converter?
So one pulse is single phase rectifier.
No. One pulse is single phase half wave rectifier.
Half wave rectifier.
Two pulses.
Number of pulse.
Single phase.
Single phase full wave.
Single phase full wave rectifier. Three pulses.
Three phase.
Three phase half
Three
wave.
phase
Half
half.
wave.
Three phase half.
Four pulse.
4 pulse, 6 pulse.
There is no four pulse and five pulse. After three pulse, directly you have six pulse. Six pulses. Three phase.
Full wave.
Full wave rectifier.
Yes, somebody was saying something. Semi-converter. Semi-converter can be six pulse as well as three pulse. Depends on the firing angle. Do you have above six pulses also?
So 12 pulse.
Yes. You have 12 pulse, you have 18 pulse, you can have 24 pulse and so on. Okay. What is the advantage of increasing the number of pulses?
Ripple will decrease and distort.
Ripple reduce.
Ripple will decrease. The ripple
More controlled
amplitude will
DC.
decrease. And it will become more closer to DC. As you go on increasing the number of pulses, your output voltage waveform goes on approaching DC. In industrial applications, you don't even use some industrial applications. You can say you don't even use 6 pulse, you go for 12 pulse or 18 pulse. Especially I've been to a HVDC station where they were using 18 pulse converters. What is the advantage of using 18 pulses compared to 6 pulse?
Sir,
Yeah, I cannot.
The lower order harmonics reduces.
Lower order harmonics reduces. Where? In the output or the input?
What is the advantage of?
Output or input?
AC side.
On the AC side, on the input side, not on the output side. Output side is DC. Okay? But there also harmonics are present, but you are more concerned with the source side here. Okay? So on the source side, that is AC, the harmonics which are present on the AC side depend on the number of pulses. A 6 pulse converter will have 6n plus minus 1 harmonics. Okay? Where n is an integer going from 0, 1 to 3 and so on. So it will have the fundamental component, it will have 5th and 7th, it will have 11th, 13th, 17th, 19th and so on. However, if you go to a 12 pulse converter, after the fundamental, the lowest harmonic will be 11th, 13th, 23rd, 25th and so on. 18 pulse converter, after the fundamental directly 17th, 19th, 35, 37 and so on. What is the advantage of decreasing the lower or eliminating the lower order harmonics?
The smoothness of the waveform
Smoothness of the
PhD will
waveform.
reduce, sir.
PhD will not reduce.
sir, heating losses will be reduced.
Torque will improve.
If you are reducing, if you are your 6 pulse converter has 5th and 7th harmonic. Now you went for a 12 pulse converter and the lowest harmonic is 11th. So what happened to the 5th and 7th harmonic? Did they evaporate? What happened to them?
Nullified some.
No. The answer is they are shifted. Okay. The 5th and 7th harmonic are shifted to the higher side. So, what is the advantage? The advantage is that your
If
filter size reduces. Correct? What
Sir,
is the size of the filter? Huh? Vikram, go on.
sir, if harmonic is shifted toward higher harmonics, then effect it will be decreased, sir. Effect it will also be decreased.
Not much decrease is there. TLT कम होता है as you go TLT decreases, but your harmonic content, if you see the frequency spectrum, you will see that there are some higher order harmonics introduced, or some higher order harmonics the magnitude is increased. But the thing is, these higher order harmonics can be very easily eliminated by using a filter. And what does the size of the filter depend on?
Cutoff frequency.
Yes, cutoff frequency. As you go on increasing the cutoff frequency, we are talking about a low pass filter here. As you go on increasing the cutoff frequency, your size of the filter goes on decrease. Every power electronic circuit that you will use will have an input filter as well as an output filter. Even though you don't draw them in the circuit diagram, in practice there will be an input filter as well as an output filter. Okay. I think you know what are AC voltage controllers. Yes. Have you studied AC voltage controllers?
Yes, sir.
What do they do?
Voltage controller means of complete pulse can be controlled. Means complete wave of sine wave can be controlled. Positive and negative both.
Output will be AC or DC. Input is AC. Output will be AC or DC.
AC.
Output will be AC. Voltage will, amplitude of the voltage will change. Correct? It will increase or decrease.
Means can be controlled means increase or decrease whatever we are needed we need
Yes, anyone else? AC voltage controller, output voltage will be greater than the input or less than the input.
Less than input, sir.
Always.
Less than input, always.
Yes, it is always less than the input in AC voltage controller.
less than input. Yes.
What about the frequency? Output frequency is greater than input frequency or less than input frequency?
Same.
Same, sir.
It is
Same.
It is converting fixed voltage, fixed frequency AC to variable voltage, fixed frequency AC. Okay, that is your AC voltage controller. If you want variable voltage, variable frequency AC, then what do you do?
Inverter, we use the inverter.
Cycloconverter.
You can use either an inverter or a cycloconverter, a rectifier inverter combination or a cycloconverter. Cycloconverter is single stage. Rectifier inverter combination is two stage. Which one is preferred?
Single stage.
Cycloconverter.
Cycloconverter.
Which one is preferred? How many cycloconverters have you seen?
Which one is preferred? Rectifier inverter combination we generally prefer.
Rectifier inverter combination is preferred because it is easier to handle. A cycloconverter is not a simple device, it is a highly complicated device. Furthermore, the cycloconverter introduces a lot of harmonics. A lot of harmonics are there. The cycloconverter is used only in high power applications. That too only when you want to generally step down the frequency. For low and medium power applications, we'll go for a rectifier and an inverter. Especially since the rectifier is generally an uncontrolled rectifier, it's made simply from diodes, and all the control is inside the inverter. Okay? So when you want variable voltage, variable frequency AC, you'll either go for a cycloconverter or a rectifier inverter combination. Okay, then you have studied choppers or buck converters, boost converters, as well as buck boost converters. Now what do they do?
Buck
So
converter.
reduce or increase the voltage.
Yes,
Yes,
DC voltage.
Fixed DC to variable voltage
Variable
DC.
DC.
And you have seen their circuits. I'm not going to devise their circuits. But the thing is, if you simulate the buck converter or boost converter, you will see that you will get a satisfactory output only when the switching frequency is at least in kilohertz, generally 10 kilohertz and above. Okay? If you operate it at like suppose 2 kilohertz, the output waveform quality is very, very poor. Okay? And there always has to be a capacitor at the output terminals. Otherwise, you will not get a proper output. Even though in the circuit diagram, you might not have drawn that. Okay, so because these choppers or DC to DC converters always work on high frequency, then the devices generally used are MOSFETs. And finally, inverters will convert DC into AC. The preferred devices are IGBTs. You have two-level inverters. You can also have multi-level inverters. You must probably have had an introduction to multi-level inverters. However, that is not in our syllabus. I think the energy sir will teach that. Okay. Other devices are also, other circuits are also present. For example, resonant converters are there. You have a matrix converter also. Okay, matrix converters are not that popular. They did not pick up, but resonant converters are popular. But again, that is not in our syllabus. We'll study that in advanced power electronics, AP1 or AP2. Okay, so let's stop the class here today. We'll have our next class tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Any questions?